The Seattle Drug Problem by Terrence and Rory. Seattle, which is mostly known for its stunning waterfront views and the world-famous Space Needle, has made national headlines for a much different reason as of late: a drug crisis. Throughout the 2010s, King County's drug use was very moderate, around 1,000 annual fatal overdoses. This, however, all changed in the year 2021, which combined the COVID-19 pandemic and the addition of the highly addictive and highly fatal drug fentanyl. The combination of both saw the annual overdose toll rise from 508 in 2020 to a staggering 1,001 deaths in 2022, almost doubling the annual deaths in just 2 years. While all of this was going on, in 2021, the Washington State Court struck down the current drug law, stating the current felony drug law was unconstitutional as it criminalized unknowing possession of drugs. Legislation scrambled to create a new law, which was coined Blake's Law. This temporary law, which was set to expire July of 2023, was vastly different. Under Blake's Law, the police had to refer illegal drug users to recovery centers twice before arresting them. This law made it almost impossible for drug addicts to ever get arrested, basically giving them free rein to shoot up wherever. Under this temporary law, overdoses and crime shot up. 2022 and 2023 were the worst years ever for overdoses, general crime, and violent crime, and it's not a coincidence. Under this law, King County saw over 1,000 overdoses annually in 2022 and 2023, which smashed records. While all this was going on, the police did almost nothing, simply referring drug addicts to help centers, which they almost never went to. Because of this, the general public as well as drug users suffered, and change was needed. After Mayor Harrell declared through an executive order that once the new law is in place, it will be up to the police officers to determine when someone using drugs in public poses a threat of harm to others and the course of action to take. The law was then passed on September 19th and went into effect 30 days later. The law has now been in effect for 9 months, giving us time to look at its effects. King County's opioid overdose statistics show that through 2024, we're on track to match 2023's overdose statistics, which smashed all-time records.
The most interesting part of this whole situation is that arrest numbers just don't make sense. Shortly after the bill was passed in September, we saw arrest numbers spike. Unfortunately, this effort dropped off almost entirely in February 2024, with arrest numbers falling back to basically the same as they were before.
Statistics never tell the whole story, but unfortunately, looking around the city says the same thing. No difference. We have seen no real difference in the amount of people doing drugs on the street from this year to last. This all makes sense, as under the new law, the police should only arrest those harming public safety, which just means people committing violent crimes on drugs. We believe that the current drug policy is not only harming the general public by allowing public drug users to run rampant from street corners to public transportation, but is also harming the drug users themselves. Drug addicts almost never willingly get help, and we believe the only solution is to give them a choice: go to a treatment center where you can't leave, or go to jail. By not allowing them to simply go back to the streets, we believe this will greatly improve an addict's chance of getting clean. This will also in turn allow for the police departments to actually do their jobs, which is to protect the public. When someone is smoking fentanyl on a public bus or on the street, they should be arrested and forced to either get treatment or go to jail. Simply referring them to a treatment center is idiotic and a waste of everyone's time and resources. Mayor Harrell has already moved $20 million to treatment centers, so the money is there. We just need to change our approach on how to treat drug addicts. Right now, the current drug law isn't protecting the common good or the individual rights of drug addicts, when it should be trying to protect both. Allowing drug addicts to thrive is actually taking away their individual and natural rights and freedoms. We need a new law that allows the police to do their job while also giving drug addicts the help they need without enabling their addictions.
You can tell we are very passionate about this issue, but the real assignment is to understand the rift in our state and local government. Washington State made its own drug enforcement code a part of Seattle municipal law, meaning Seattle lost its privileges to deal with the problem at its own discretion. The problem is that police officers are not even bringing in people, but instead pretending that these new regulations almost don't exist. Washington State has a couple different strategies they can use to force Seattle into compliance. One is using another agreement or program as leverage. Another drastic option would be to have state law enforcement jurisdiction expanded into Seattle. That's obviously not a great idea and also, frankly, dystopian. The fascinating thing about this is that under the Constitution, there are virtually no regulations about where state authority ends and where local authority begins, meaning states have near total power over the municipalities within.